On one hand, you want good yield on the soybean. On the other hand, you also want good yield on the wheat. So how do we get both? Illinois is actually one of the states that has some of the most double crop soybean acres in the whole US. And then on the wheat side, actually 80% of the wheat acres are followed by double crop soybeans. So it is a pretty important system for the state. We know that for every day that the soybean planting is delayed in double crop soybeans, we lose about a half a bushel per acre, depending on the exact timing and the year and other factors. This project is going to help us provide information to farmers on varieties and specifically about how early do they break dormancy and is there variation in how quickly they dry. So are some varieties faster drying than others? Couple traits that we're looking at to try to help us do that. We're trying to find varieties that will actually dry faster. When they reach physiological maturity, it's like that's when grain filling stops. We want them to dry down quickly because after that we're just waiting. They're not gaining any additional yield. So we want that period to be faster, and that could be one way to save time. And then on the other side, we want the wheat varieties not to break dormancy too soon in the winter and early spring, because then they become vulnerable to spring freeze damage. So once the results come out, we're going to include the data that we've collected summarized in the state variety trial results. So we're going to have the data like we normally do on yield, and in addition to that, we'll have a spring freeze risk score, and then we will also have some results on the timing of physiological maturity and then the timing when they reach 14% moisture. And so that should be coming out in August. Another thing we hope is that by providing this data on the Illinois State Variety Trial varieties, we'll have some uniformity in how varieties are being assessed in terms of their maturity and, phenology, because it can be very different how different companies refer to their varieties. And so by doing it uniformly in an experimental trial, we hope we can kind of develop a source that will be able to compare across multiple different companies.